Hi there, Warriors, and welcome. But not a good welcome because Uruguay have lost 1 point out of the first two games and another really disappointing performance, if you ask me. And Uruguay are now in need of a win against Ghana in the last game to, well, really go into the round of 16 to go up against Brazil. It's not a good situation. We all know this. And I think we're all disappointed, not because of just the points we have had so far, or just that we have not scored yet, but because of the way we've played so far. Alonso came in and made Uruguay more protagonists, having initiative on the ball, having initiative out of possession and on possession to make something happen and to be protagonists in the game, to be proactive, to go away from what we've come accustomed to in many years under Tabares. And now he's there in the World Cup, and what do we see? We see a Uruguay scared to play football. And today, I mean, against South Korea, you can say it's the first game. It's nerves. It's really Uruguay basically having a little bit of their DNA in it, which never is to be too, how do you say, too offensive. But you have this result, you play, you get the draw, and then you move on from there. You try to be more of yourself. You show Uruguay what we can really be. And then you play today back three. I don't really care about if you play a back three, back five, back four. It's the intention we have in the game, which was not there. No initiative on the ball. We were so deep in our half in many phases of the first half. And okay, Bentancur created a good chance, which he should have finished. That was a good moment. But these are just moments of individual brilliance. Uruguay were never in the game, having possession, having a really stringing passes together, even more than four or five. Never had this until we went behind. And then we had to go for it. Tarasquieta came on, Pelistri came on, Godin went out. We played four at the back. We played more attacking. Yeah, Uruguay have to go for it. And then we create some chances. But at the end of the day, the reason why we lost this game is the way we started the game. It's that we show no balls basically. We have no initiative. We are too pragmatic, too passive, too defensive, and then eventually you give the control away to Portugal, who weren't great. They didn't play well, Portugal, on the night. This was a game Uruguay could have won if we really were up for it, but we weren't, and we paid for it, just like against South Korea. You cannot wait 60, 70 minutes of football to go for it, to really try and make a game of it, to play some football. You cannot wait so long in a World Cup game. And against South Korea, we had to wait 70 minutes. Now we had to wait 60 minutes. But at the end of the day, we lost the game because from the minute one, we didn't have the intention to win the game. Bentancur said in a press conference that our intention is to win this game. Alonso says always we can go head to head with every team in the world, every national team in the world. These are just words. These are just words because they're empty. Because today and against South Korea, we saw that this was Uruguay that was not having the intention of playing the game, being the better team, going at the opponent. No, it was a team that was scared, which is just baffling because this is a team that did so well in the end of the qualifiers, who showed a different face, which have Bentancur, Valverde, two of the most informed midfielders in their leagues, or maybe even in the world this season. Then you have Darwin, Cavani, Suarez. I mean, we can all have critics about them, but if they are playing in a team which is having the intention to play football, they will get chances, they will score goals. But no, we were never like this today. And we were never like this against South Korea. Only when we go behind, when we have the urgency to do it, but the urgency has to be there from minute one. Because otherwise, you're not going to win games of football at the World Cup. Maybe years ago, but now football is really a team that has to show initiative, has to be attacking, has to be more modern, pressing high up the pitch. And Uruguay were never this until they went behind. And then it was already too late. Already too late. But anyway, thanks to you all for being here. I would have loved to have spoken to you today in a different way, but it is as it is. That's the way. And Uruguay can still go to the next round. We know this. They can still beat Ghana, although South Korea can also win. In which case, Uruguay have to score, I think, 2 goals, or I think they have to win by a goal difference of 2. Otherwise, South Korea will go through because Uruguay, obviously, by losing now 2-0. The goal difference is -2. South Korea is -1. So if South Korea win, for example, 1-0, 2-1, Uruguay have to win by a margin of 2. But anyway, Uruguay have to win against Ghana, and then we will see what happens. We will see. And then we will have to face, if we go through, Brazil most probably, which is a really tough game. And Uruguay could have avoided this if our intention was from day one to go and top the group and to be the team we know we can be. And I'm not talking about being irrational and going all out attack. No, I'm saying just play the 4-4-2 with Coates and Jimenez. Just play Ugarte Torreira at the base of midfield, Bentancur, Valverde in the central midfield positions with more license to go in the front. And then you could play either 3 attackers with Pelistri, for example, Darasqueta, and the number 9, or you could play 2 number 9s with Darasqueta or De La Cruz in behind. Then you have a team which is ready to play football and also be compact and be tight to defend the opponent. But what we had today, and against South Korea, was a team which was never set up to create chances. Never. And you can see this in the games, because how did we create chances? Godin one was the corner. Valverde one was a shot from outside the box, was just a moment of brilliance. Bentancur here had to defeat 3 players in the counter to get to the chance. These are the chances we've created. And then you can talk about Darasqueta, the one that we created on the counter-attack and transition, which was good. But this was only 1 or 2 chances which we created by really good play, team play in possession, which was only the case when we went down and we had to do it. But that's just not the way to go, for me anyway. I will go in through the comments first. But yeah, thanks to you all for being here. Let me know your opinion. I mean, don't hold back. Speak your mind, because it's really a frustrating night for me. I was watching it with my brother, who has no love or anything for Uruguay, because he's just a regular Dutch guy, and I'm not, because I follow and I support Uruguay ahead of my own country, the Netherlands. So I was watching with him, and I was getting annoyed a lot, and he was laughing a little bit, because it was a really depressing night for me anyway, because it was just not the night we could have won. That's really my opinion. We could have won this game if we really had the intention to win it, but we didn't. Okay. Ignacio Rodriguez says, unreal, man. Tabares might as well come back. Really? I mean, that's the case. I mean, some people see it as like disrespect to Tabares when we compare this, when we compare Alonso with Tabares right now. But this was the case under Tabares for many years, this type of football. And Alonso came into the tournament giving us a new face, a new brand of football, really showing more initiative, being proactive. And then he goes to the World Cup and he shits the bed. He just goes back to the basics, which we've seen for so many years. And what is the result? We all know what the result is. Uruguay is never going to be really competitive if we play like this. We've seen it for many Copa Americas in a row. And Alonso came in to change this, and then he goes completely back on his principles, which he proposed since day one. And everything he says in the press are just words with no meaning, because he doesn't back it up in what we are seeing today or else against South Korea. It's so frustrating, because we know it doesn't have to be like this. It's not like we have a team which is aging. No, we have players on the bench, players in the team, which really can play so much better. Edgar Giribaldo says, I'm literally speechless after 2 games. Yeah, me as well, man. I mean, what can we say about this? I mean, it's just really frustrating. Ignacio says, Bentancur was unreal today, but we are restricting Valverde. Why are we scared? Yes, a good point. Bentancur was good today, yeah. And Valverde, I had a little bit of criticism on Twitter on him, that we haven't seen the real Valverde yet. But you're probably right when you're saying that the reason this is not the case is because we are restricting him. And even though Bentancur played well, I still think playing him as the most or the least advanced midfielder, I know he has his moments to go up the pitch and press high, but when we are in defensive shape, Bentancur is the least defensive player or the least attacking player in our midfield. For me, Bentancur always has to be one of the 2 in a double pivot, and then a more defensive one next to him. So even when we were playing more attacking in the second half, we were playing with Valverde and Bentancur. And although both are great players, I still think when you're playing against big teams, you have to have this safety blanket behind them, which is Ugarte or Torreira. But yeah, I don't know why this is not happening. It's really baffling. But okay, Abimanyu Vijay says, from being the only team to not concede in a group stage in 2018 to not scoring a single goal in 2022. Yeah, I mean, that's another damning statistic, not scoring a goal in the first 2 games. And you know what? The narrative can be, okay, but we hit the post with Maxi Gomez. We hit the bar with Federer Valverde. We hit the post with Godin. But I don't buy this, The thing is, I'm quite subjective when it comes to Uruguay because I want to defend Uruguay. But when it comes to us really being poor and really not showing up, I'm really going the other way completely. Because for me, the penalty on Josema, if people bring it up, I'm really thinking, shut up, man, shut up. What has it got to do with it? What has it got to do with anything? Don't talk to me about a decision like that, which is always you can debate it obviously, but the real talking point now is how Uruguay have played in these first 180 minutes of the tournament. That's the real discussion, not a stupid call on a penalty or the post we hit or the bar we hit. No, Uruguay do not deserve to have any point, any or maybe 1 point. It's the most we deserve. But these two games we could have gone out to maybe get 4 points or even 6 points if our intentions were genuine to play football and to win games. That is the main talking point here. The lack of balls Uruguay showed and Alonso showed in his management and the disappointing performances we have seen so far. That is the real talking point. Not a stupid call on Josema or a shot that didn't went in from Valverde. That's not a talking point. You have to be realistic now. You have to realize how Uruguay have played and how they've really not lived up to the expectations, which is the real talking point for me. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I mean, if you're dissatisfied about Josema having a penalty against him, or maybe Maxi Gomez not scoring, I can understand this. But for me, that is really looking past the real point of discussion. Edgar here says zero desire to score, compounded by involving players with tactics uncommon. Fede is being wasted. Yeah, I mean, second one already talking about Fede being wasted. And you can see for Fede, he was really, when you looked at his face sometimes, which, I mean, that is, you cannot really read anything of it, maybe, but I believe maybe you could see from him that he was a bit lost. I mean, he is not enjoying his football right now, that's for sure. And is this because of the way he's being used in the system? I don't know, but for sure it seems plausible. How do you say? Plausible argument we can consider because he's not playing the football we have seen him play for Madrid, which is a shame because Valverde at the top of his game is a player that can make a difference. We all know this, and we have not seen this so far. Yeah. Mike says Alonso is a donkey. We have Ugarte, De La Cruz, Facu Torres, Chojan, yet he still starts Vecino, and neither Ugarte and Facu get minutes. I mean, Vecino playing still is just absolutely. I mean, that is just a sackable offense, isn't it? I mean, come on, that's just bullshit. That is right. Vecino still playing, and people really still arguing for him to play. I mean, what sport are you watching anyway? That's just a nonsense to see him play still. The first half, I mean, he has literally wasted any moment he had by losing possession, rushing his pass, stuff like this. The basic stuff which you need in a midfield when you play a game like this against Portugal. You need to keep the ball. You need to have some control and have some tranquility in your game to get something going, to get some momentum going. And every time the ball was played to Vecino or he got into a position, he fluffed this line, he wasted the possession. I mean, come on. And he is playing at the position we have to, where normally Bentancur should play. And then you have Torreira, who is one of the most safest passers in our team. But no, we play Bentancur, and then we could play Vecino, who was a waste of space for the 60 minutes he was on the field, just like he was for all the minutes he played against South Korea. And it's not about Vecino. It's not something personal. It's just we have all seen Vecino in these last 12, 18 months being absolutely horrific for Uruguay. Absolutely horrific. Just dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And then Alonso comes in, and for some reason he takes a liking to him, which I just don't get. I really don't get. And then he plays the first two games in the World Cup. And after the first game, he still doesn't realize what the disservice he does to himself and to Uruguay as a team to keep playing him. And if the penny hasn't dropped yet tonight, and if he's still playing against South Korea, against Ghana, I'm just lost for words. And I'm just coming to a point where I think maybe Alonso, this job is too big for you. Maybe it is, because to see you have such a swift shift in tactics, shift in your beliefs, in your principles, which you propose in your footballing ID, when we go to the World Cup, when this suddenly is all shifted, and when you just cannot see the picture, the full picture, why Vecino should not be playing, why, for example, we need a number 6 behind Fabian Takur and Valverde, these things, for me, I can only come to one logical conclusion, is that the job is too big for Alonso. And I'm happy to be proven wrong. But in his first 2 games, there's no one who can say to me that I'm wrong about this. Because I'm not wrong about this. And many of you will feel similar to me, because what we have seen in these first 2 games is a complete disaster class from a manager who was once, or a few months ago, seen as this promising young new manager of the new Uruguay. And now 2 games in the World Cup, we are thinking about sacking him. I'm not saying we should, absolutely not, because we have to wait how this World Cup goes, and still some things can change. But based on his first 2 games, I mean, it's really, really not good for Alonso, and really not good. And he has to take, for me, probably 100% of the blame from the results we've seen so far. And I'm really, that's for me just common knowledge at the moment. Nicolas Hernandez Vidal says, just unbelievable. Don't really have much else to say. Hope Alonso's happy with his extended break. Don't even blame the players. It's all his fault, and I believed in him. What a waste. Yeah, I mean, that just speaks of your comment really resonates with me, because it just the way you put it, it's just disappointment as well, because we all thought Alonso was this new manager who maybe could be there for many years, and then in this World Cup, he's just completely fluffed his lines. Completely. Edgar says, Bentancur was being an animal today. However, if Bentancur was your best player, something is wrong. Well, I'm not sure if that's the case. If Bentancur is your best player, I mean, it could also be a good something good. But the thing is, Bentancur was probably our only player that really reached a good level. Cavani and Darwin for the 70 minutes they played really didn't do anything. Valverde was anonymous. Vecino was horrific. I think Coates did okay. I think first half he was really good. Second half a little bit less, but okay. Jimenez, I mean, he wasn't great, wasn't bad. Godin, the same. Fullbacks, Oliveira, I think he was a bit rash. I mean, he had some good moments, but also some really inexperienced moments. And Varela was okay, I think. So Bentancur was the only one who probably will have a 7 or 8, but the rest will be our 4, 5s, and maybe some 6s, and that's just not good enough, right? Yeah. I am DSM. David, that's the most. Yeah, I can understand. This should shed some light on Alonso on who to start next game. Let's not forget that bullshit penalty. Well, I mean, we should not forget maybe, but still, the story is bigger than that, in my opinion. But okay, I will just go through the comments a little bit quicker, because, yeah, I've spoken a lot so far, and now I want to hear about your opinions more than my own, because I'm tired of it, basically. Make says Tabares would have probably shithoused a 1-0 out of that for us. Yeah, maybe he would. I mean, Tabares would have done better with the tactics Alonso and how do you say, the Alonso's did for us, because Tabares was probably more used to this, and Alonso, I don't know what's happened with him. I don't know. Bentancur's intentions were to win the game. Clearly, it wasn't Alonso's. No, wasn't. It wasn't. So. I mean, I'm not gonna repeat that. I absolutely understand your frustration, but yeah, I mean, you never know. We will see. We will see. Jason Knight. I knew this would happen from the very beginning. It would have been much better if he never made it to the World Cup in the first place, or he would get embarrassed by teams that can actually play. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I didn't know this would happen from the very beginning. If you're talking about the World Cup, I didn't. I really didn't, because I was really hoping for Alonso to come up and to really improve Uruguay as he has done for the last 12, 18 months. But when you're talking about from the beginning, from this game, I had the feeling as well, because I was never going to it was better than last game in the system or the team we played, but I was never seeing how we would really connect as a team. I mean, now Cavani and Darwin were like disconnected from the whole team, just like Suarez and Darwin were last game. And yeah, we can go at Cavani or we can go at Suarez like many did last game, but it's not their fault. Basically, it's once again they are victims of the tactics that were deployed, and that's the reality for me. So that's why I say it's 100% on Alonso, which is even more painful because we know he's done, we know what he's done before and how he lets us play, and then he refers to this like this Stone Age type of football, which just baffles me. Jorge Cepero, hey David, hello Jorge, thank you for being here, man. And just like any of you, if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. If you're not new, if you're already been here before, thank you for once again coming back. And everyone, if you want to do one nice thing today, like the video. It would lighten up the day for me a little bit. So I would appreciate that. But thank you. So Jorge says, painful and sad moment for everyone. I can't believe Ghana scores 3 goals against Ghana. Uruguay can't. You mean South Korea, I believe. Yeah, that's the thing for me as well. I mean, I didn't watch the game today from South Korea and Ghana, but the fact that Ghana, and I know they weren't like the team that was dominating possession, and I know they were really clinical. I mean, they didn't have many chances, but if Ghana scores 3 on South Korea, it's just even more of an just more of a more disappointing how Uruguay weren't able to score a goal or win the game. That's just unbelievable for me. Felix Season says I'm going to the Ghana match. Okay, well I'm hoping, I don't know who you're supporting, but if you're supporting for Uruguay, I really hope you get served up something better than what we've seen so far, man. I really hope so. Jason Knight says, as soon as Alonso brought on creative players, Portugal were on the back foot. Really bad game management. Wasn't impressed at all with Portugal either. They were there for the taking. I fully agree with you, Jason. That's the thing. I think this Portugal side, they weren't nothing special. They're nothing special. They're not going to win this tournament. They're not going to go to the final. I don't believe it for 1 second. And that is why in the preview to the World Cup, I was thinking we can top this group. We can go top of this group. We can top this group and avoid Brazil in the last 16. We really can. But we didn't, and we are not going to, because of what we all know, we all know the reasons. And that's just so disappointing. I mean, so yeah. And today, the game, when Uruguay tried to play some football, Uruguay actually did play okay. I mean, it wasn't great, but we created certainly 2 good chances and 3 or 4 moments that were promising, but it was too late. And it just, for me, the boat had already sailed. Even when we were on the front foot, I was thinking, even if we get a draw from this, it still remains the same. We have to win against Ghana. And I was so disappointed because I was thinking, we should have won this game. We could have won this game, and then we don't. We have no intention to. That's just a shit show, man. Honestly, it really frustrated me to a point I was really infuriated. And yeah, it's just not good. Bentancur and Valverde. Make says Bentancur and Valverde in the midfield, and we're still goalless in 180 minutes of play. It's embarrassing. Wait, no, it's just Diego Alonso. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that either. Everyone thought Alonso was different. It turned out he wasn't. No, that's the case. And Jorge also with another comment, the problem wasn't Suarez versus Korea. Now we all see it. Yeah, I mean, nothing to add to this because you're speaking the truth. And I'm gonna put another tweet out that we are live if so more people can join. And later on, I will go through the quotes of the players and of Alonso. I'm interested to hear, but also I'm not really, because what are we gonna hear? I mean, 1 final is left. We should go for it. We can go for it. We want everyone to be behind us. I mean, it's not really giving us anything, you know. For me, this was a tournament-defining game. I said it on Twitter. Maybe if you follow me on Twitter, or maybe you have not seen it, but anyway, I said it on Twitter. This is a tournament-defining game. The way we are going to play today, the kind of Uruguay we are going to see, with what intentions we are going to play, this is defining what kind of Uruguay do we want to be. And today we showed the same against South Korea, that we are too scared, too anxious, too passive, too pragmatic to impose ourselves on the world stage. And for me, although I will hope with all my heart that we will win against Ghana and go through, and I will hope with all my heart that we will beat Brazil. For me, the tournament as it is right now, for Uruguay, basically it's my expectation is we win and we go out against Brazil, and people can say it's Brazil. It's Brazil. They are the favorites. Yeah, they are the favorites. They are, but it's not really the point. If we start off the tournament with the right intentions, we would have not been in this situation, and we could have gone for the top of the group and make a deep run. Now I'm not so confident, because how can you be confident when you've seen these two games and you know that if you win against Ghana, you will come up against Brazil? It's just a shambles, isn't it? Come on. But okay. Sorry, Edgar, with another comment. I was deceived by Alonso. If I knew they're gonna go play with this as preparation, never. No, I got what you're saying. Make says my lineup for the game versus Ghana is Rochette, Varela, Jimenez, Godin, Oliveira, Bentancur, Ugarte, Valverde, Georgian, Torres, and Nunez. Well, that seems all right for me. I would probably start with Pelistri. I think I really like his cameo appearance on the right side. But the midfield and the defense, I would certainly go with that as well. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Nicolas Hernandez Vidal, and what a difference Tarasqueta made. I mean, Tarasqueta, we all know what he is. We all know what he is. He gets in between the spaces, between the attack or the defensive midfield. He picks up pockets of space and he gets us playing. He gets us ticking. He gets more players into play. He's the connection. He's the hook between the midfield and the attack. We all know this. We knew this for at the start of the game, and yet we start with Vecino and midfield, and we start with a back three and back five basically. I mean, that is just what makes it even more infuriating, because we know all these things. I mean, it's not like we have discovered something new today. But okay, Edgar says when I saw the lineup before it started, I already felt the defeat coming. It's mind blowing that this was the response after Korea. Yeah, I know, I'm fully with you. Bad game from Cavani, in my opinion. What do you think? Santiago Wallach bounces this. Well, yeah, you probably sent this comment before I was talking about Cavani and Darwin and Suarez. I mean, they are victims of the formation and of the way we are playing at the moment. So I would absolutely have no bad word for them. I'm fully Dutch, Make, fully Dutch. But I support Uruguay more than my own country. So yeah, I don't know what that's all about. But yeah. Um, Jorge Cepero says it's actually depressing when Saudi Arabia plays better passing football than Uruguay. Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah. Um, every man then at least Cavani gave more than Suarez, but it's damning with faint praise. Well, I wouldn't say that Cavani gave more. I thought Cavani was shocking, to be honest. I mean, just as much as Suarez was shocking, Cavani was shocking. But both, I would not lay the blame at their boots, because they were so isolated and really working on scratches. And I mean, Darwin wasn't. I did a tweet that Darwin was still needed to wake up, and maybe it's a bit unfair, because for Darwin it was the same. He was also really isolated and working off scratches. But I thought Darwin was just really in his passing. He was so sloppy. He was so weak in the duels. But like with Cavani and Suarez, I would not put the blame at them for our bad moment. No, absolutely not. That would be unfair. Mindless blind passing. Think about going forward. Nope. Pass ball back, canceling any momentum. Edgar. Uruguay will improve only when some of these old guys retire. Abimanju. Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily the case, because even with the mix of old guys, old guys, with our veterans and new players, we could have done so much better at this World Cup so far. But yeah, it's just the way we've played, which is really disappointing. Jason Knight says, I still think replacing Tavares was the right move. 100% it was the right move, man. Jason, absolutely was the right move. For sure. Let's not get this twisted right now. Just because Alonso is shitting the bed right now and reverting to some kind of Tavares ball while he was playing really good football with the team a few months ago, let's not just rewrite history. Tavares was not going to qualify with the team. He was not going to qualify. Let's get that right, okay? And he continues, Jason. This team is unfortunately still a team in transition, a work in progress. Well, I wouldn't agree with that as well. I mean, yeah, for sure, there is a work in progress, and we are in between generations. But that still doesn't mean that we could have done better this World Cup so far if we actually bothered to play football and bothered to be protagonists at this World Cup rather than passengers and be passive and pragmatic. So yeah. Leo says, I'm watching Alonso on the press conference. Yeah, well, yeah, that's. I mean, it's gonna be hard, because he's gonna sell a lot of smoke. That's what he's gonna do. We all know that, and I like the man. I like Alonso a lot, but what he is, These two games have just been horrific. I mean, come on. Jose Sbarcela says hard to see Valverde's potential when we have 11 players hanging from the crossbar the whole game. Yeah. No, for sure, a system or a formation or a way of playing that would have been more taking initiative would benefit Valverde a lot, as many players in his squad. Reckless boy, do I have to vent? Well, bring it on, man. I'm here for your comments. I'm here for it. Edgar Giribaldo says Nunez is not playing at an elite level. Half his fault, half unable to play better due to this tactic. Yeah, I mean Darwin can play better, like Valverde as well. But like we've all, I think, come to the conclusion is partly it's down to the system and the way we are playing. Jorge Cepero says, why would the fans want Uruguay to take on Brazil when Alonso makes the team play like this against beatable Portugal? Still want Uruguay to pass, just putting it out there. Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, yeah, you should always support Uruguay to go through, but the reality is that we're going to face Brazil, and the chances are we're going to go out. And then you can say it's Brazil, or like against France, you can say it's France, or you can come up to another big team and say, okay, it's this, it's that. But what you could have done, should have done, is go into this group and be really with the intention of topping the group, which Uruguay never were. 2 games we played, the 2 games we were pragmatic, passive, and actually wanting to have a lucky break, waiting on a mistake of the opponent, and not going out to win the game of football. And then you set yourself up to fail. That's the way it is in football right now. I mean, come on, we all know this. We all watch football now. Football is so much more about going out to win it. I mean, the days of Mourinho football, being victorious. I mean, these days are gone. Obviously, it happens once and again. You know, it happens now and again. But overall, these days are gone. And if you do this, you set yourself up to fail, and you set yourself up to finish second or being knocked out, which we at the moment are. You know, we are only going to be able to get second or being knocked out. And then you get yourself in a situation of going against Brazil. We all know this. So it's no point of thinking, okay, well, it's Brazil. It's not logical that we go out because it's Brazil and we're Uruguay. No, it's not the good way to look at it, because you make your own luck. You need to go out there to win the group. We all knew this. And now we are in this situation where even if we win against Ghana, for me, it's nothing to be optimistic about it. Because Uruguay, as we all know, are not going to Copa Americas or to World Cups to make it out of the group stage and to be knocked out by another big team. That's not the way. That's not why Uruguay has such a great history. That's not why it is. That's the reason why Tabares is gone, because Tabares was like that. Tabares came up with one of the worst quotes I've heard following Uruguayan football in my life, is that we have the obligation to win. That's just pathetic, dreadful. But actually, it's the same at the moment when you look at Alonso and the way he sets his team up. And if you go into a tournament or a game like this, you set yourself up to fail. And Uruguay never should do this, never should be about this. So if Uruguay get knocked out in the last 16 against Brazil, it's a failure, a big failure. A failure which has to lead to Alonso's job being in question. Because the reason we will be knocked out if we go through, and it's a big if at this moment, is because of Alonso and how he sets us up. And I think that's just the truth. I mean, you can disagree, and please, if you disagree, let me know, because I'm always open for opinions which differ from my own. But I see no reason as to why I'm wrong on this one. Leburu says, I got called a pessimist when I criticized the way we played when we lost versus Iran. And now we are seeing flashbacks of the performances of the last game under Tabares, which ultimately sacked him. Okay, some people were pessimistic of Iran for the performance against Iran. And I can agree with you, because it was a bad performance. But my thing of this game was, I think, yeah, it's a bad performance, but we will learn from it now. This is a moment where you play a friendly, just like, what is it, like 2 or 3 months before the World Cup. That's a really brilliant performance where you learn from mistakes, you learn from how you should not set up. And then we go into the World Cup and we actually make the same mistakes. That's even more baffling, right? I mean, come on. Okay. Alonso keeps stating that how we keep losing possession, yet he doesn't start Ugarte and Torreira, says Leo. Yeah, I mean, you're watching the press conference, as you're saying. I mean, if he's stating that, I mean, and then he doesn't start Ugarte Torreira, like you say, and especially Torreira. I mean, you cannot talk about his height, but Torreira is one of the best ball distributor in our squad, possibly the best, the most safest passer. I would say Torreira. And then you play Vecino and you get Bentancur in the most least advanced position in midfield. As we all know, this is a position where he's sometimes done well, but at Juventus he also had some dreadful performances. And Bentancur played well, but it could have been so much better when we had someone like Ugarte and Torreira as the number 6. But okay, it's too late, and we have to look forward. And I'm not really. Oh, sorry, you just messed something up here. I'm not really confident at the moment, as you could probably see from my face or hear from my opinions. But okay, I have to go through the comments faster, man. I keep talking too much. I'm sorry. So Make says Torreira can come on as a sub for Ugarte and Bentancur when they're a guest. Yeah, or Torreira. I believe Torreira Ugarte should start in the game. I really believe this, but yeah, okay. George Andrasqueta and Pelistri have to start against Ghana. Yeah, I think as well. I think certainly one of them, but I mean, we have to play more offensive for sure. Which, well, I mean, we cannot really play less defensive than we have done so far, basically. So it should not be that hard. But oh well. It's the way it is, I guess. Yeah. Jason Knight, had we started with Darasqueta from the very beginning, we had the chance to win this game. As soon as we had creative players, Portugal fell back. I'm fluffing my lines as well, basically, at the moment. A bit like Alonso, but yeah, I need to drink some water. Yeah, and I think, I mean, you have to also realize Portugal probably did allow us to go and have some prominence in the game because it suited them to hit on the break. But yeah, we played better for sure. But yeah, like we all know, this is a reaction, and we were reactive. We are passive, and we had to be proactive, and we weren't. Ben Just, Cavani needs wide players to support him. When the team went 4-4-2, that was the time for Cavani to play, not to be taken off. Yeah, maybe that's true, and maybe Maxi Gomez to come on. I didn't agree with this. I mean, keep Cavani or Darwin on with Suarez, but Maxi Gomez, come on. He scored 2 goals for Trabzonspor this season. He scored like 10 goals in his last 2 seasons for Valencia. This is just not a time to bring Maxi Gomez on. And yeah, for sure, if this shot would have gone in, he would have shut everybody up. But I mean, looking at it rationally, it was just a bad decision. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't probably was maybe the 5th or 6th bad position on the night, which really tells the story. Really, really poor from Alonso. Will Araujo be available versus Ghana? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. We all don't know, to be honest. Jorge Cepero says, thank God Jose Jimenez spoke after the game. Yeah, I mean, his words rang true with all of us, I think. He said, we didn't go out to win. It was similar in the first game against South Korea. I mean, let's have a look. What did he say? Furthermore, because I don't want to get the words wrong. So he said here, let's have a look. The same thing happened as the first game. We didn't go out to win. We entered a bit hesitant with our football. And he says we have one more final, which everybody is saying right now from the squad. And that is true. But yeah. Okay. Bentancur looked like he wanted to explode. He put so much effort. If I was Bentancur, I would be really, really frustrated as well. And just like any player for Uruguay, I would be really frustrated. And that's the one thing I don't understand. I mean, Godin came out like a day ago or 2 days ago saying that the ones who say that I shouldn't play the World Cup don't know nothing about football. And I thought this was a really an arrogant and a really a bad one from Godin, because although he played okay against South Korea in the first game, this is not something. I mean, okay, you play well against Korea, who did well, but actually, did they propose any attacking threat? Son had a really bad game. They had a center forward who, I mean, this was a player that was really not threatening. Godin did okay, but come on, Godin, you do know that we need more than you at the moment. And Coates today played, and he made a few passes which Godin never even intended in his first game. Everything went long. But we needed someone like Coates who dared to play forward, play into the feet of the midfielders to get some people into play. And we never had this with Godin. And even though Godin had a decent game against Korea, we all know when it comes up to the big games, and we have these games where sometimes you have to be in transition from a defense, from attack to defense. Godin will be absolutely murdered. We know this. It's not something we will see and be surprised. We know this. And also, Godin has played a few competitive games in his last 18 months. He was part of one of the worst defenses in Italian football with Cagliari. Then he went to Atletico Mineiro, where he wasn't even taken into account because he was not fit, and also not at a technical level, or not taken into account for technical reasons by the coaching staff. Then he went to Vélez Sarsfield and he played like 4 or 5 games. And then he expects us to cheer him to be the World Cup captain, and expect us to be, oh, okay, Godin, we know what you did in 2014 and 2018. Okay, that's fine. We will just believe that you will deliver, and not think that maybe someone like Coates should come in and actually have a chance because he deserves it for the results or for the performances he has given Sporting over the last 2 or 3 years. That's not something unreasonable, and for Godin to react so childish, I would say, is just really disappointing, and also a bad look on himself, to be honest. Um, Ajay Gulzar says, I can't imagine going through a World Cup without celebrating a single goal. No, but yeah, it really could happen, because although Ghana has already conceded 5 goals in this World Cup, um, Uruguay really need to change things up to have some improvement, because I'm not confident. I'm not confident about our game against Ghana. I'm really not. And there's no reason to be as well. So yeah, I mean, and for me as well, just completely besides besides my own feelings about Uruguay, I also feel really sad about, for example, Cavani and Suarez, how their careers basically can come to an end, because of a manager really bottling it, to be honest. But okay, that's something to discuss a different day. As I'm looking at Twitter at the moment, by the way, so sorry, but I have to. Yes, okay, all good. But yeah, that's another discussion. That's another topic of discussion, which is not really interesting today. But for me, it's really sad though. There goes the Valverde's Ballon d'Or chances, says Abimanju. Yeah, seems like they are gone right now. Yeah. Um, Reckless says Alonso stated that we had 11 chances for a goal this game. I don't know what he's smoking. Yeah, I mean, if he said that, it's just, I mean, that's just also completely missing the point. Really not having any self-reflection. I mean, he also did this against South Korea. He said, even though we didn't play well, we had 5 or 6 chances to score, which already was just wildly off the mark, because I can only remember Godin 1 chance, Cavani 1 decent chance in the box, and then the shot from Valverde. But other than that, did we have any clear-cut chances? I mean, Oliveira played Darwin but really fluffed his lines, played the ball too hard, which was why Darwin couldn't really do anything. Is that a chance? No, it isn't. We all know this. That isn't. So yeah, I would not take that too seriously, to be honest. Ugarte, Farela, Araujo, Georgian Facu de la Cruz is a must versus Ghana. We will see. I mean, I'm really not confident in Alonso at the moment for making any changes, positive changes. That is. We looked like a completely different team compared to the last quarter of qualifying. That's the thing. I mean, people now from Twitter who have no idea about Uruguay, who are just fans of Liverpool, maybe, or Chelsea, or any teams, or not even to a team which is related to a Uruguayan footballer, but just watching football, are saying to me as well, is what a bad manager Uruguay have at the moment. I mean, sack him, stuff like this. And the thing is, it's an okay or a reasonable assumption or a reasonable conclusion if you watch the first 2 games with the players we have available. But we all know, the guys, we all know how Alonso changed Uruguay. And then he completely goes back to what we've seen today and on Thursday. It just baffles me, honestly. Okay. Ajay Gulzar says, how does Coutinho start for a team like Lazio? Well, the thing is, he doesn't even start regularly. I mean, he does start probably 1 in every 2 games, but he's not a regular starter. And this is a Lazio Roma side. I mean, they are doing okay, but it's not like they're. I mean, I think didn't they go to the Conference League. They were in the Europa League group and they're going to the Conference League. And I mean, I'm not sure where they are in the Serie A, but I don't think. I mean, it's not like they're exceptional, to be honest. So, but yeah, I mean, the performances from Ficino in the Uruguay in the Sky Blue for the last 18 months should be reasons enough to really say goodbye to Ficino as a Uruguay international. And yeah, people still defending him. I don't understand. I don't understand where you're coming from or how you watch football. Uh, but yeah, that's my opinion anyway. Nicolas Hernandez Vidal. It's a crime. It should be a crime to misuse Fede the way Alonso is misusing him, and playing Ficino when you've got Torreira and Manuel Ugarte on the bench. Like fuck, man, it's terrible to watch. Yeah, it is. It really is. Shani says Nunez should not start. Utter trash today. Suarez did more in 20 minutes than Nunez did in almost 180 so far. I don't know about that. I mean, from both they were ineffective to me. But yeah, it's like I've said before, it's not really the points to discuss right now. For me anyway. I mean, you should talk about and you should give your opinion about anything you would like to, because that's what this live stream is all about. But yeah, the big point is just Uruguay and the way we have failed to really be anything close to what we were in the qualifiers in the last 4 games. I mean, that's just a failure on our part and on Alonso's part. Make says Vecino is 10 times worse than Koke, and trust me, I watched Koke last night when he got subbed on for Gavi, and oh my god, that is one of the worst ever cameos I've ever seen from a Spanish midfielders. But Vecino, I don't rate Koke either, by the way. I mean, I watched him for Atletico during all the time Suarez played for Atletico, and I really didn't rate Koke. I think he's overrated. But Koke is still much better footballer than Vecino. I can also agree with you on that. Okay, Edgar says Alonso sounding stubborn. The guy is lost and barking back. Yeah, I mean, the more and more I'm watching Uruguay this World Cup and I'm reading about Alonso and I'm reading about what's going on, I'm thinking the job is too big for him. I really do think this at the moment. Yeah, Nunez says no. Yeah, but I might get Shani. I get your opinions, but I don't think maybe Nunez didn't do well, and maybe Suarez has qualities which we need more at the moment. But it's besides the point we are really should be looking at, which is the overall picture of Uruguay and how we are trying to play and how we are not trying to play, basically. And I'm sure that if we went out there with a back four with Coates and Jimenez, with Ugarte, Torreira, then Bentancur, Valverde, and have two up top, and Darasqueta or De La Cruz, Nunez would have played better because he had more surface. We were playing closer to the opposition box. He would have been able to cause more havoc in the opponent area, and he would have been much better. We know this, and that's why it's so disappointing. Ben Joss, Suarez and Cavani are the way to go, in my opinion. Even getting on in age, they rise to the occasion and link well. I think Suarez and Cavani will play against Ghana. Whether I agree with this, I don't know. But if there are two players that can deliver for Uruguay on the big stage, we know they are them, And certainly when they have a good supporting cast, which we really need against Ghana, I also believe that they can do it. But yeah, but my fear is that's a little bit too late, because even if you go to the round of 16 against Brazil, which is so hard. Uruguay lost because of shit goals. I mean, that's true. I mean, we didn't concede good goals today. The penalty is questionable. I mean, the goal from Fernandez. What I didn't agree with is Godin engaged on the ball with Fernandez, was why Coates was 1-on-1 with Ronaldo, and Ronaldo made a good run, which distracted Rochette, and which made sure that he wasn't really able to save the ball. But it wasn't a good goal. But yeah, it was scrappy. But for me, when you play like Uruguay did, you deserve it to concede like this. Yeah, maybe you make a good point, but Alonso really has done well for Uruguay until the World Cup, which is why it's more baffling even. Yeah, Edgar also. If Alonso thought we had chances, he's being arrogant and ignorant. Shani, again, with Cavani, was far better than Nunez. Suarez showed a lot when he came on. I think all three weren't great, weren't effective. But like I said, And like we've all said, I think this was little due to their own performances. It was more to do with the overall setup Uruguay had. None of these players respect Alonso. He's like the Uruguayan version of Southgate. He talks good to the media, but on a pitch he's a small puppy. Well, I think they actually do respect Alonso, which maybe is part of the reason why we're not doing well, because they don't question him. But oh well. I mean, yeah. I'm gonna fly through these comments and then I'm gonna go off because gonna update the Twitter account and then going to sleep because unfortunately it's closing in on midnight here. Alonso came into this World Cup playing scared and it is costing us. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Alonso as well as the players look nervous from the start of the World Cup. Well, for me the players, I think I don't really know if they look nervous, but playing in the way we are playing, so feeling so inferior to the opponent, it doesn't really fill players with like confidence, I guess. Certainly when you start a World Cup campaign against South Korea thinking you should win this game and you set up like you did, it doesn't set a good precedent for the players for the World Cup. Abimanchu Valverde right winger, Nunez lone striker versus Ghana. Who knows? Let's see. I mean, we also have to realize Ghana is probably going to play for a draw because they draw and they have 4 points. I mean, South Korea can win obviously against Portugal, which would make it possible that Ghana were even knocked out with a draw, but it would give them a really good position to go through. And Ghana can play another draw. They have some good defenders. They have a lot of speed on the break. So, like I said, we have set ourselves up to fill this World Cup. And yeah, so if we go out or even if we go through, for me, the tournament has already been defined by today's game. And I hope I'm proven wrong on this, but I don't think I am, unfortunately. Suarez, I would only bring in the last 50 minutes. Yeah, maybe. Reckless, all talk. He had about us having faith in coming into this, not being scared of our opponents. Has been proven wrong in the first 2 games. Yes, very true. Vecino should not start a game from now on. Jorge Arrascaeta has to be untouchable. Yeah, I mean, Arrascaeta or De La Cruz for me, or maybe even both should play. Vecino, after today, for me, he should never wear a Uruguay kit again. And we know this is the case because come on, how can what are we expecting from Vecino anymore? We know what he's gonna bring, and we know it. We've seen it for 18 months, and even if he plays one good game, and we've seen this happen so many times. If he plays one good game, Uruguayan press will be praising him, licking his bottom, and all this stuff, pumping him up as our next break midfielder or whatever. But when he plays like this, there's no talk. And I really don't get that because we can all see this, that he's not up to the level that we should expect from the Uruguay national team. Come on. That's just common logic. We can all see this. You don't have to be a football scientist for this. You don't have to have played 100 caps for Uruguay or be in the elite of European football. You don't have to be that. That's why it pisses me off so much because it's just fucking annoying that this just happens time and time and again. It's just, come on. It's just so stupid, you know. Fucking hell, man. So Monty says, the problem is we went out playing for a tie or loss. If we had gone attacking the whole game as we did after we conceded, we would have won. Spot on, Montes. Spot on. I mean, couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely couldn't. Leo says, we cannot use that 5-3-1 formation. The times we used the formation, we tied against US and lost against Iran. No more back three, says Make. Either 4-3-1 or 4-3-3 or maybe 4-4-2. But anyway, something like this, yeah. And then Leo agrees, says we need to use 4-4-2 or 4-3-1. Reckless says we need to stop playing like we are scared of having the ball. We are relying on these long balls up to Cavani, Suarez, and Nunez. Make says Cavani and Suarez as 15-20 minutes subs. Only that's about it. Okay, yeah. I mean, we have to see. I mean, we've played like this since 2010, says Esteban, but we don't have prime Suarez, Cavani, and Forlan. Yeah, also a brilliant point. I mean, we can all talk about this run from Uruguay, But we all also know, if we remember or if you watch the games back, I mean, the game against Ghana, I mean, I would advise you to watch this without the emotion you're living, and that's hard to do, obviously. But if you watch this just as a football fan, which has no really emotional connection to any team or to football, well, if you're looking at it purely rationally, the Ghana game was so bad. It was so bad, and Uruguay came through these games because of moments of magic from Suarez, from Forlan, from Abreu, the penalty, and it's brilliant. We got to the semifinals, which was absolutely brilliant, but we got to the final because of a great team spirit and because of Forlan, who was doing great, brilliant. Also, by the way, Suarez for Chile as well. But we didn't play a great brand of football. We were also really pragmatic, really pragmatic. But now we don't cannot rely anymore on Forlan in his prime or Suarez or Cavani in his prime. We hope to see Valverde live up to his capabilities. But yeah, we all know that he's being a little bit restricted in his role and in his freedom with the way we are playing at the moment. Reckless says, if we want to move it up the field, then Maxi Gomez needs to be one of the strikers. That type of hold-up play is his style. Well, but Cavani can also do this for me. But yeah, I know Maxi can do this as well, but Cavani can do this as well. And Maxi shouldn't really be having any minutes on the pitch this World Cup. Really shouldn't. Um, Rui Serracina says, we already played Ghana. My advice to Alonso is to watch out for our wingers. Super fast and strong. I'm rooting for you guys now. Well, thank you, Rui. Really, yeah, fair play to you. I mean, Portugal are going to top the group. I really hope you are going to win against South Korea to really give us the position that we have to win and we go through. But yeah, I mean, you won the game for me, in my opinion, because we really went at the game with a wrong approach. I think Portugal, best of luck to you in the rest of the tournament. But Uruguay could have won this game if we actually had the balls to have to do it, to play football. But anyway, thank you, Rui, and yeah, best of luck for the tournament, man. Marquez says, David, which teams do you support? I support Uruguay and any Uruguayan who's playing in Europe or in South America or in North America or whatever. I have a tendency to support these teams, but yeah, I support Uruguay basically. That's it. I'm the sword bro, for real. Yeah, Vincent, I can understand that. For me, it's the same. Yeah, Fortnite is a legend. His ability to transfer the ball to attack from defense as well as be the menace he can be is what makes the defense approach works. Yeah, and Edgar, again, we're not playing guys with the ability to hold, move, and be decisive with the ball. But we actually have these guys, by the way. But we really don't bring them in a position to make the difference. I think if we play with Torreira Ugarte, I mean, it's 100 times I say this stream. If we play a midfielder like that and have Valverde and Bentancur ahead of them, I actually think we can move the ball from defense to attack really well. Certainly when we have a number 10 like De La Cruz and Arrascaeta. Yeah. No, you shit the bed, Kalin. Absolutely right. Such a great generation to waste. Yeah, I mean, it's that's the thing as well. I mean, come on. We could have done so much better in his first two games. Brazil are a much, much better team than Portugal. Lol, I prefer we don't even get to the knockouts. Brazil will embarrass us, says Jason. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the chances are high, and we even still have to get there, Darsketa and Pelistri completely changed the game, yet they were on the bench for 60 minutes. They did well, and Pelistri, I liked him a lot. But yeah, once again, it's too late. We knew this since Tavares, says Leo. There it is. Fina, Cáceres, Fina, Canavio, Maxi. Yeah, I mean, but even with them and this World Cup, I see what you're saying, Make. I mean, I'm not sure, Make. I don't know if you do. I don't know what your name is basically, but I will say Make because it's better than saying GHR, GGR all the time. But I see what you're saying. But even with these players in the World Cup, with Fina, with Cáceres, with Canovio, with Maxi, we could have still done so much better. I mean, that's the thing. Phoenix would have never been taken over Piqueras. True, but I mean, that's true, but it's not really. And I get what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, and I agree with it completely. But it's not really relevant at the moment. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. Marcus has finished. Yeah, maybe he should. Maybe you should. Our strikers get no service at all, said Reckless. Yeah, absolutely. Agustin Duarte says, I've been saying it for years now. Cavani is a coward, useless player. I don't agree with that, to be honest. But yeah, everybody is free to have his opinion. But he didn't play well, no. But like we said, I mean, they were in the graveyard shift basically. Yeah, Reckless also the completely alone. Maxi Gomez did more in 10 seconds than Cavani did in 60+ minutes. That's true. I mean, but yeah, that's true. Cavani didn't do well. Philemon says, "Why can we play attacking once in our fucking history? Why do we have to? Why do we have to play with the mentality that we have to be losing to have possession and attack?" Yeah, I mean, the only thing that can come from this World Cup, which will be good probably, is Alonso either completely changing it up or Alonso being sacked and having Guillermo Almada coming in, which is my dream manager for Uruguay. But yeah, let's just focus on the next game first. It's hard getting the ball upfield without a playmaker or anyone with a mid to good ball handling. Yeah. Okay, Centarajo to El Barcelona to get ready for the second half of the season, says Jorge Cepero. Imagine having much better our way of playing would have been. Sorry, imagine how much better our way of playing would have been if we hired someone like Gallardo. Maybe it's time to realize that our football school is not following up with the modern style. Our managers are not really following up on the modern style. That's the thing, I guess, because our players, we know, and they are playing for top teams in Europe who are really playing this modern style. So it's not really down to them. Augusto Duarte says, Portugal played awful, and yet we still lost. Unbelievable how they were scared to play them. Yeah, man, I agree with that completely. Reckless agreeing with Leburu on the comment he made. Yeah, he's a Uruguayan Southgate, says Make on Alonso. Is there any Uruguayan manager that plays modern football? Guillermo Almada, yeah, for now manager of Pachuca. He is, yeah, and Leo also says this. And I know, Leo, I know you've been a fan for Almada for many years, and I'm fully behind you. I mean, yeah. What's your take on Alonso taking Godin out? Really strange. Even Godin seems shocked. Well, I didn't really catch that, to be honest, what the reaction was for Godin, but it was the right decision, by the way. And if Godin is shocked, he's even more up his own arse than I thought he was. And I love Godin for what he's done for Uruguayan football. But come on, have some humility, have some self-reflection. The fact that you are there, that you are in the squad and even in the starting lineup is a joke. And you know that. Come on. That just pisses me off, by the way. Because the same goes for Lugano when he played that game. And the same goes for Lugano when he keeps defending Tavares all the time in his interviews. Come on, just grow up. Don't be so fucking immature on these type of stuff. Do what is best for the team or for the country you so much love. And I get that your connection with the team and with Uruguay is so much that you want to play, and actually it's not even his fault. It's Alonso's fault, because Alonso as a manager has to be rational in this decision. I mean, he says he loves his players like he loves his players so much that he wouldn't take any other Portuguese player in his team. And I get this feeling, absolutely, but maybe he's too connected to certain players like Godin, because if he's really making decisions based on watching the football in the last 12 months or even the last 4 weeks when they were training, or last 2 or 3 weeks, you could never come up with the conclusion or with the decision that Godin should be playing in the starting 11, just like you couldn't come up with a decision to play Caceres or Vecino. And if you make this decision, you watch football with a fucking blindfold, because it's just making no sense. So yeah, that's my opinion. But okay. Gaston Cetrangolo says this game was painful to watch. We need Tarqueta and Pellistri. Needs to come off the bench every game. We need to play Jorge Tarqueta and Pellistri. Yeah, certainly them two, or maybe De La Cruz even as well. That's what we need next game. This manager is poor. The team selection is awful. Uruguay is still trying to horseshoe Suarez and Cavani at this age is embarrassing. Build around Nunez and make him the central target, Saif Mahmoud says. Yeah, make some good points. Even though if we play Suarez or Cavani or both, we still have to do a better job in giving them service and playing a system or a formation or a style of play that suits them. That's the thing, I guess. because I don't think Suarez should be written off completely, but you should write him off if you play him in a counter-attack system, because that's just, come on, that's, we know this is not working. But yeah, I do know this, and I'm here sitting in my bed, not having anything to do with professional football. But Alonso, being paid a lot of money to make this decision, cannot see it, which is even more frustrating. Yeah, maybe we could, Make. Maybe we could. I hope Ghana embarrasses us, since Brazil will double embarrass even more since Javi. Yeah. Well, I don't hope that, but I get what you're saying. Okay, let's get in. How did Fantino start 2 games in a row whilst Ugarte sat on the bench? Some poor decisions from the manager. Saif with another comment. Yeah, spot on. Manti says, if we go out to win like we did against Venezuela, Chile, Paraguay, or Peru, we have the chance to beat Brazil. But now if we play like that, but not if we play like we did today. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's true. But I think our tournament has been defined today, and that's not a good. The result is not a good thing. It's not a good. How do you say? My conclusion from this is not good, and I'm happy to prove wrong once again. But I don't think this is gonna shift. Even if we go through to the next round by beating Ghana, I'm not optimistic, to be honest. Javi says, I had decent tactics. He had decent tactics during qualifiers. Then he decided to park the bus against Korea and Portugal for 65 minutes. Once the offensive players went, Portugal were exposed and so bad, like I thought. Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I think many of us agree, and it's not just because we are trying to agree with each other. It's just that we have seen the game, and there is only one conclusion to draw from it. Um, yeah, Matis, he has been playing scared football, but in the qualifiers we paid to win, and we did. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the most annoying thing of all. Okay, I have to raise through his comments because I really need some sleep as well. And I really love to spend time with you and have this and discuss this, and we will do this for sure before the Ghana game again, and probably with Alessandro as well, and also Farid, and maybe even another one, maybe Gabi from Twitter or Danny. Some people want to join in the stream, and which I love to see. So yeah, I believe we can do Torreira. Yeah, maybe we can with Bentancur and Valverde as a double pivot, but maybe against Ghana we can. But in the big games, I still think we need Ugarte Torreira. Tarjeta has to be a starter, no doubt, says Mantis. I agree completely. What do you think about Jimenez and Cavani's comments and Alonso not taking blame? I only have seen Jimenez's comments so far. I will go on Twitter or on the website soon after the stream, and I will see. But yeah, I will see, and I will be on Twitter, sharing them and also giving me opinion. But yeah, okay. We can also try Valverde at right wing, and then Tarjeta and one of Torreira Ugarte on then. So it's reckless. Yeah, for sure we can. And we can also play Tarjeta from the left, and then have Torreira Ugarte with Bentancur Valverde. I mean, there are many options we can do, many alternatives we can use to be better, to be much better than we were today. Gotta move Fede to right wing. Get him to use his speed. Then transition him inside later in the game. Edgar could be a good option. I don't know about it, Agustin. I mean, come on. We have to play to their strengths, to Cavani and Suarez's strengths, to have a really good judgment of them. I mean, I know what you're saying. I mean, Gomez had a good shot, but other than this, what has he done in the game besides this? So I think it's a bit rash to say this. I'm gonna go a bit faster to the comments. Sorry, I will skip some comments, but that's the way it is. Because I mean, you've been really killing it with all these comments, and many people in the stream, which I really love. Thank you for the support. Even though it's been a bad night, thank you for the support. Please subscribe if you're not already to this channel, and also please like the video, and maybe leave a comment even on here or in a comment box in the video about what's next. I mean, how we are gonna go to this in this tournament next. Do you have any confidence that we can turn it around, beat Ghana, maybe go into the last 16 with any hope of making it far into the tournament, or do you think it's all done now? Araujo, José Coates, Oliveira. That's a good balanced back four. I think Ivan Varela ahead of Araujo is still a stable back four in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. We can prepare for the 2026 World Cup after this match. Yeah, we can absolutely. But I mean, 4 years is a long time. I mean, that's the thing. It's really a long time. If I compare myself now to 4 years ago in my life, it's been such a long time, and also the gray hairs have been piling up. So I don't I don't want to wait 4 years to have a good moment with Uruguay. I don't want to wait 4 years. Absolutely, this is a 180 from how we played during the final qualifiers. Edgar, yeah, for sure. Jima, yeah, okay. I have to really look at these comments. I have to really have to look. Okay, did he say that reckless? That's the question you should ask Alonso. That's yeah. Okay. I will look into this. I'm not going to speculate the comments which I haven't read or haven't seen. So yeah. Hopefully in 2026 we have someone like Almada, Pezzolano, Marco Silva, Albe Ferreira, and it's just team at then. Yeah. Well, I'm getting comments, but I'm really going to focus on this World Cup still. I mean, 2026 is way too far from me. I mean, yeah, I still have to survive these 4 years. So I can only okay. Let's get into these comments. Okay. I'm gonna skip someone. Sorry, boys and girls, if you're watching as well. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. So thanks to you all for your comments, for your opinions. I mean, I think that we can all come to the consensus that Uruguay are in the position they are right now because of their own lack to show some balls, to show the will to win, to be a bit on the front foot. And yeah, the reason why we're here is because we've been so passive, pragmatic, not proactive, waiting for opportunities and being too defensive. And that's the way it is. I mean, Alonso has got us into this position, has got us into the World Cup, but he's also got us into this position and that we need a win to go through to the last 16. And then we will face Brazil if we can even make it to the last 16. And this all while this is a group that was really accessible and which we really should be able to top. But yeah, the game plan, the lineup, the way we went into the games, we were always set up to fail. And eventually we did fail. We didn't get the win in the first game, which was absolutely essential to our campaign and which we needed to. And we have lost today against Portugal, which was, you can say, we could have scored, we could have equalized. Maybe the penalty was not deserved, but overall, when you look at the approach to both games, we deserve to have 1 point at this point of the tournament. We deserve it, and we could maybe turn it around, and I really hope we can. But for me, it's not obvious, or it's not clear, and I don't have a lot of hope, or positivity for this to happen. And that's my opinion. I'm happy to be proven wrong, like I said many times in this video, but I don't really think I will be proven wrong. So yeah, that's my stance on Uruguay at the moment. Okay, so once again, thanks to you all for being here. Yeah, to drown in our sorrows together. That's probably the best way to do it than doing it on your own. Uruguay will play on Friday, I think, against Ghana. We will be probably with Farid and Alessandro, maybe more, be live on YouTube before this game for sure. Maybe it's a day before or whatever, I don't know, but we will be live discussing our thoughts, discussing the last two games, but also looking forward to the Ghana game, obviously. And up until then, you can follow me obviously on Uruguayan Euros. I will try to be positive, but it's gonna be hard in these upcoming days, I think. So yeah, thanks to you all for being here, and I hope you still have a nice day or a nice week despite the result. And I will see you soon. Okay, bye bye.